This is a hearing of the Minnesota Senate Taxes Committee. It is Wednesday, April 29th at 8:39 a.m. Quorum is present. We have the minutes from April 28th distributed. Are there any corrections or additions? Seeing none, the minutes are approved as presented. We begin our presentation today of Senate File 5052. We will begin with the presentation of the bill, beginning with the spreadsheet. Mr. Mon. I think so. My goodness. Mr. Mudd?
Madam Chair and members, there's the spreadsheet in your packet is titled 2026 Senate Taxes Omnibus. I'll just try to group everything by different categories rather than go strictly line by line. But the first thing I wanted to point out is the net effect of the bill. That is on the line titled Net General Fund Effect, and it shows a $10.47 million cost for the fiscal year 26-27 biennium, and a net increase in tax revenue of $416,817,000 in the fiscal 28-29 biennium. The provisions that increase revenue by the most sizable amounts are on lines 14 and 15 and 27. Lines 14 and 15 show federal conformity provisions to items in the Public Law 11921 relating to bonus depreciation. That increases revenue by $7.5 million in the current biennium and $27.1 million in the tails. And on line 15, there is a conformity provision related to excessive employee remuneration. Increases revenue by $8.2 million and $16 million. And on line 27 is a variation of the social media excise tax that was first heard in the previous session. The tier rates have been increased in this, in the provision that's in this bill, and that's expected to increase revenue by $104.7 million in the current biennium and $432.5 million in the fiscal 28-29 biennium. Jumping back up to lines 1 and 2, there are two additional federal conformity provisions related to the Dependent Care Assistance Program and the Dependent Care Tax Credit. These decrease revenue by a combined $66.3 million over the current and next biennia. Lines 4 through 8 are provisions that were carried in last year's taxes bill. There are some slight changes to the film production credit modifications, but those have the effect of reducing revenue by the amounts shown. On line 16 is the sustainable aviation fuel credit proposal that was introduced in the governor's bill. It has the effect of reducing revenue by $5.3 million in the current biennium and $7.4 million in the tails. On line 24 is a change to the solid waste management tax, modifying the definition of a residential generator. This is expected to reduce general fund revenues by $10 million, or $10,000 per year, There's a corresponding decrease to the environmental fund on line 106 of $30,000 a year. On the second page, lines 30 through 32 are sales tax exemptions for local government projects that were first carried in last year's bill. The numbers are the same, but the amounts have just been shifted into the upcoming fiscal year for each of them. The change on line 32 does not carry a cost. And on line 33 is a modification to the collection of charges by tourism improvement districts that also does not carry a cost. On line 36 is Senator Miller's Sports and Events Reimbursement Program. This would have an unknown effect on state sales tax revenues. This appears later in the bill, or later in the spreadsheet, where the effects of sales tax revenue are shown on the legacy and Metro-wide sales tax funds. And on line 37 is a modification to the amount of Minneapolis sales tax revenue that is withheld for a payment to the MSFA. There's a corresponding decrease in spending on line 82, so those amounts net out to zero. Moving to the property tax aids and credits section of the spreadsheet, on line 41 is a one-time increase to the homestead credit refund. This would increase refunds by 12% for above the amounts calculated for 2026. It has a one-time cost of $100.8 million. The remaining items on lines 42 through 55 are interactions with other property tax proposals that change the amount of homestead credit refunds that would be paid. Lines 43 through 45 are from the seasonal school district tax-based replacement aid program from Senator Hochschild's bill that was first carried in last year's taxes bill. And lines 44 and 45 show the changes resulting from the disabled veterans market value exclusion increase. Lines 46 through 55 are all related to either classification changes or property tax exemptions that have minor effects on homestead credit refunds. Similarly, on lines 58 through 60 are changes to the agricultural market homestead value credit related to property classification changes. And the same with line 63, Senator Rarick's bill regarding farm wineries has a minor effect on the school building bond agricultural credit. On page 3, lines 66 through 72 show the changes to local government aids. There is a ongoing increase to soil and water conservation district aid of $2 million per year. There are no property tax refund or income tax deduction interactions with this increase because those are not taxing districts. Line 67 is the aid that would be paid to school districts through Senator Hochschild's seasonal tax-based replacement aid program. On line 68 is a one-time aid to reimburse cities for the costs of federal immigration enforcement actions. Because this is a one-time increase, there are also no interactions with property tax refunds or income tax deductions. Jumping down to line 79, this is a collection of miscellaneous items. There is an appropriation to the Department of Revenue for a grant to the city of South St. Paul related to planning and development costs. That is a $250,000 one-time appropriation in the current fiscal year. This is a provision that's been carried in the Senate taxes bill for, I believe, 2 years. On line 80 is an appropriation from Senator Champion's bill that modifies the downtown Minneapolis taxing district. That bill was amended to include this appropriation to the city of Chaska to attract and cover costs related to attracting Professional Golfers Association events. That's a $7 million appropriation, and there's an offsetting transfer on line 81 from an appropriation from the Minnesota Forward Fund. There is a corresponding cancellation and transfer out of the Minnesota Forward Fund that's displayed on lines 112 and 113. And on line 82 is the previously mentioned reduction to the Minnesota Sports Facilities Authority payment related to the sales tax revenue that is withheld from the city of Minneapolis. The remaining lines starting on line 91 through 114 show the various effects on non-general funds. These are mostly related to the sales tax exemptions for Woodbury and Ramsey. And similarly, there's the environmental fund revenue decrease related from the residential generators definition modification is shown here as well. And lastly, on the final page, there is just a listing of the provisions in the local sales tax and tax increment financing articles that have no effect on state revenues.
Thank you, Mr. Munn. We will then begin going through the articles in the bill, and we'll start with Article 1, the federal update. Ms. Pollack.
Madam Chair, members, Nora Pollack, Senate Counsel. I'll begin with Article 1, the federal update. This article updates the reference to the definitions of net income and internal revenue code in the tax chapters to provide for conformity to the four provisions from HR 1 that Mr. Mumm described, enhancement of the Dependent Care Assistance Program, enhancement of the Dependent Care Tax Credit, modifications for types of property that qualify for bonus depreciation, and the limitation on deduction for excessive employee remuneration from controlled group members and allocation of deductions. Moving on to Article 2, income and corporate franchise taxes. This article includes modifications to the credit for producing or selling sustainable aviation fuel, removes the cap on the allocation for the tax credit for owners of agricultural assets. It expands eligibility for the types of expenses that qualify for the film production credit and lowers the expenditure threshold to qualify for the credit. This article also provides a subtraction for compensation paid to members of the National Guard of a neighboring state. It modifies the historic structure rehabilitation credit to allow a project to be placed in service within 6 years of receiving an allocation certificate, and also allows a second assignment of the credit. It establishes a set-aside, a temporary set-aside for applications to the Minnesota Housing Contribution Credit for projects that are located in Greater Minnesota. And finally, this article decouples Minnesota from Section 530. This is commonly called the Section 530 exclusion for purposes of determining liabilities for employer income tax withholding requirements.
Thank you. Mr. Sylvia will begin for Article 3, and Ms. Burge will talk about the modeling that was done on the roads.
Madam Chair and members, Eric Sylvia, non-partisan Senate Counsel. Article 3 is the property tax article, and I've kind of grouped my presentation around specific topics. There are a number of changes or establishments of property tax exemption within this article. The exemption for exempt property used by private entities for profit is expanded to include property used for grazing activities, and also the exemption for certain airport property is expanded to include certain airport property used for storage, repair, or manufacture of airport. In addition, a property tax exemption is established for a certain property owned by an Indian tribe, and an existing exemption for a certain property owned by an Indian tribe is modified. In addition, there is an establishment of 2 personal property tax exemptions for certain electric generation facilities, those being in the cities of Austin and Owatonna. In addition to the exemption modification for grazing activities, there are a number of agricultural provisions. The list of qualified relatives for special agricultural homestead for purposes of unoccupied agricultural property is expanded to include a number of other qualified relatives. Property is allowed to qualify for a special agricultural homestead if the owner and the person actively farming the agricultural property lives within the county where the property is located or lives within an adjacent county. And also, the agricultural classification is expanded to include land containing a farm winery. Concerning property tax classifications, 2 notable changes are being made. The classification tier rates for Class 1C homestead resorts is modified, and for purposes of Class 2C managed forest land, property subject to a conservation easement is allowed to qualify. Concerning specific property tax relief programs, within this article is an increase to the exclusion amounts for the disabled veterans homestead market value exclusion, and also, as Mr. Mum noted, a one-time increase in homestead credit refunds based on property taxes payable in 2026. There is no specific ongoing formula change, but this proposal would allow those claimant to receive a refund under the current law formula. That amount that they would otherwise be eligible to receive would be increased by 12%. And lastly, Madam Chair, members, this article contains several changes to the Border City Development Zone program. However, increases to the income tax credit or an increase to the annual appropriation to the program is not included within this article.
Ms. Bursch.
Madam Chair and members, my name is Megan Bursch. I'm a nonpartisan Senate analyst. In your packets is a property tax model run that summarizes the combined impact of the proposed changes to the homestead market value exclusion for veterans with a disability and to the Class 1C homestead resort property tier adjustment. Both of those proposals are modeled as if they're effective for taxes payable in 2026, just for the sake of the run. But I should note that neither of them are actually effective this year. The increase in the maximum market value exclusion amounts reduces the taxable market value and the net tax capacity of residential and agricultural homestead property owned by veterans with a disability. And the increase in the tier limits for Class 1C homestead resort property moves a portion of those properties' market value from higher tiers and class rates to lower ones, which also reduces their net tax capacity. So those proposed changes shift a portion of the tax burden away from homestead property owned by veterans with a disability and away from homestead resort property and on to all other properties. And the property tax model run, particularly Table 1.2, shows the magnitude of those shifts. In your packets is just the statewide page, but the summary by region is, I believe, posted online.
Thank you. Article 4, Ms. Pollock.
Madam Chair, Article 4 is the sales and use and excise tax article. This article establishes a social media data collection tax. It modifies requirements for remittance of Minneapolis local sales tax revenues for use by the Minnesota Sports Facilities Authority. This article also modifies the definition of residential generator for purposes of the solid waste management tax and clarifies when a service charge imposed by a tourism improvement district is included in the sales price of lodging services. And finally, it provides sales tax refunds for construction projects for construction materials for projects in Ramsey and Woodbury and in the Browerville School District. Madam Chair, moving on to Article 5, this is the local sales and special taxes article. This article authorizes 24 local jurisdictions, including a fire district, to impose a local sales tax if approved by the voters. It authorizes 2 local jurisdictions to impose a special tax, including food and beverage, lodging, and admissions. And it authorizes modifications to existing local sales taxes in 7 cities, and authorizes modifications to local special taxes in 2 cities. That concludes Article 5.
Ms. Bursch?
Madam Chair, Article 6 establishes and modifies a number of local government aids. Those established include seasonal tax-based replacement aid to school districts, which reduces voter-approved operating referendum levies in certain districts with Class 4C12 seasonal recreational property, and a one-time federal enforcement reimbursement aid, which reimburses cities for certain costs of federal enforcement actions in Minnesota. And for those modified, a sparsity adjustment is added to the local government aid formula, which increases the revenue need of cities that meet certain population and population density criteria. Because the LGA appropriation is not changing under this proposal, the addition of the sparsity adjustment just serves to shift a portion of the current appropriation towards cities that qualify for the adjustment and away from those that don't. There is modeling for this proposal as well, included in your packets, that shows the projected changes in the distribution of LGA from current law for aids payable in 2027. An estimated 15 cities would qualify to receive the sparsity adjustment in 2027, though of those, only 10 are projected to receive a larger LGA payment as a result. As Mr. Mumm previously mentioned, the appropriation for soil and water conservation district aid is increased by $2 million. That increase is distributed through the existing aid formula and would functionally increase the projected aid payable to each soil and water conservation district by about 17%. There is modeling in your packets that summarizes this change as well. The eligible uses of both local affordable housing aid and statewide local housing aid are expanded to include emergency shelter facility construction, and the timeline to spend these aids on affordable housing construction or emergency shelter construction is extended by 2 years. Money is appropriated to supplement the 2027 disparity reduction aid payments to jurisdictions in Fillmore County with the 2024 and 2025 payments that were not made in those years. And finally, the sunset for local homeless prevention aid, which is after aids payable in 2028 under current law, is repealed. So that program would continue after 2028.
Thank you. Mr. Sylvia?
Madam Chair and members, Article 7 is the tax increment financing article. This article contains the language that clarifies the excess increment calculation brought forward by the Office of the State Auditor. And in addition, special TIF authorizations for the cities of Columbia Heights, Chaska, Eden Prairie, Hopkins, Mountain Lake, and Wayzata. And I will note that the special law authorizations for those cities are identical to the proposals as they were presented in committee. And just moving on to Article 8, Madam Chair and members, is the public finance article. This article contains the language that was heard by Senator Hemmingson-Yager, Senate File 3980. There are 2 sections in this article, and they are identical to the 2 sections that were presented in that bill from the Institute of Public Finance.
Madam Chair, moving on to Article 9, the Hennepin County Healthcare Tax. This article is the same as presented in committee 2 weeks ago with one modification. The modification would require the tax to terminate 25 years after it is first imposed, but it retains the requirement for the county to make the annual payment to the Capital Improvement Reserve Fund for the ballpark. That concludes Article 9.
Ms. Bursch?
Madam Chair, Article 10 is the minerals article that was heard in committee last week. This article primarily modifies how production tax revenue from Mesabi Metallics will be deposited into various funds and allocated among local governments when Mesabi Metallics ultimately begins producing and paying production taxes. The only substantive change in this article from what was heard last week is that if there's an instance of proceeds from Mesabi Metallics being insufficient to fund the allocations that are designated from those proceeds, certain allocations will be proportionally reduced under this proposal instead of being backfilled by the Douglas J. Johnson Economic Protection Trust Fund at their full amount. But otherwise, everything in this article is substantively the same as what was heard last week.
Miscellaneous article?
Madam Chair, moving on to Article 11, the miscellaneous article. This article establishes a sports and events reimbursement program and establishes a revenue ruling program with the Department of Revenue. This was a provision that the Senate carried last year in its omnibus bill. This article also provides an exemption from the liquor posting requirement for certain qualifying taxpayers. It appropriates money for a grant to the PGA and cancels an equivalent amount in the forward fund and transfers that amount to the general fund. Madam Chair, Mr. Sylvia will discuss a few more items in the miscellaneous article.
Madam Chair, there are two additional items to note. Within the miscellaneous article, sections 15 and 16 extends the authority for Ramsey and Hennepin counties to impose their specific mortgage registry and deed tax. And in addition, this article also contains the appropriation to the city of South St. Paul in the amount of $250,000 for planning and development costs.
Madam Chair, the next three articles are the department's policy and technical articles. Article 12 is the department's income and corporate franchise policy and technical article. And Article 14 is the department's miscellaneous policy and technical article. These articles appear the same as presented in committee earlier in the session.
Madam Chair, Article 13 is the Department of Revenue's policy and technical article containing changes to property taxes. I will note that 3 sections were removed from this article as they appeared a few weeks ago when the committee heard them. Those 3 articles remove the requirement for local governments to notify the Department of Revenue of local ordinance and TIF plans. Based on questions and discussions with the Department of Revenue, those sections were removed and they do not appear in this delete everything amendment. And Madam Chair and members, that completes the walkthrough of the entire delete everything amendment.
Okay, I'm going to, at this point, call on Senator Housechild for a motion to adopt the DE amendment, and then it will be subject then to further amendments and the markup of the bill tomorrow. Senator Housechild.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So moved.
Okay, all those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. Motion prevails and the amendment is adopted. We're going to have comments from, and the Senate Council can return to their chairs. We'll start our testimony. And I invite Commissioner of Revenue to join us. Commissioner, if you would identify yourself for the record. Welcome to the committee.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I am Paul Marquardt, the Commissioner of Revenue. And thank you so much for allowing me to testify on Senate File 5052 as amended on behalf of the governor. And this is a good bill. This bill is really going to help strengthen the health of our budget and assure going into the future that we have a very stable, strong, and balanced budget, and at the same time, greatly benefiting Minnesotans across the state. And a big thank you for hearing the governor's bill last week or 2 weeks ago, and also for including several of the governor's priorities and provisions in your bill, Madam Chair. And so if I could just list a few of those. Very much appreciate the sharing of the strong focus of the governors on children and family in your conformity to the Child Dependent Care Credit expansion and the Child Care Assistance Program expansion. This will really benefit children and families across the state. The inclusion of sustainable aviation fuel, as you know, this is a big priority for the governor, and the SAF and the increase in that funding will go a long ways in improving our economy and improving our environment. And it's just a win-win-win type of bill. So thank you so much, Madam Chair and committees, for including SAF. The social media tax, while the tax rate is higher in Senate File 5052 as amended in the governor, it is a great effort in moving forward in trying to modernize our tax code to the new AI economy and showing and trying to capture that value that consumers' data provides to these social media platforms that they use to make a profit. So it goes a long way in really upgrading our tax code to our new economy. Also very appreciative of including the Department of Revenue policy and technical bill. Appreciate that very much. And I have to say, and I see Senator Nelson is not here, but while not in the governor's bill, appreciate very much Senator Nelson's work on the revenue rulings. So that's going to go a long ways in improving transparency and consistency to taxpayers. And I just really want to thank Senator Nelson for that work in getting to that point. So finally, Madam Chair and members of the committee, a big thank you for the strong partnership that I have really valued between the Department of Revenue and the Senate Taxes Committee. And I talk to our staff who consistently say how helpful and wonderful your staff is, Madam Chair, and the nonpartisan Senate Council staff. So just a big thank you for all the work as we work together to put together bills. And finally, we're here as a resource to move this forward and hopefully get some things across the finish line. But thank you so much for this very good bill and for allowing me to testify today.
Thank you, Commissioner, and we look forward to further conversations with you and the others in the department as the bill moves forward. Next, testifying remotely is Mr. Gino Fregnito. And you may have noticed that we set up some categories that we're going to receive testimony on, and others not mentioned here because we've either recently had full hearings on them or they are well known from last year. But so I'm going to announce what they're talking about as we move through the list that is on your agenda. So Mr. Fregnito is the Director of Government Relations for the Minnesota CPA Society, and his testimony is on conformity. Mr. Fregnito.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. I am Gino Fregnito and the Government Relations Director at the MNCPA. And we have members in every corner of the state helping taxpayers navigate the complexity of the tax code. Currently, the Minnesota nonconformity schedule is almost 2 pages and continues to grow. This increases cost and administrative burden for all. There was a day when everything fit nicely on less than 1 page. Some of the changes included in this bill will help reduce burdens, while other non-conforming items such as R&E expensing will increase compliance, administrative, and cost burdens. The MNCPA supports the elimination of the double taxation on the qualified opportunity zones, and the conformity of those zones is not included in this bill. That's something that we would like to see, if possible, move forward. We appreciate the inclusion of the bonus depreciation being included and hope that the committee can find a way to fully conform and eliminate the add back for 5 years. We appreciate the pass-through entity exclusion being included in the bill. This helps all businesses of all sizes across the state while saving Minnesotans $400 million in federal taxes and costing the state nothing. Our members support and oppose other sections of the bill, not in the conformities section, but those are my comments on the conformities section. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Fregnito. I will point out that the PTE is passed this committee and went to the floor, and it is not in the DE amendment, but will appear later. Next, we have Mr. Brian Cook from the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. Welcome to the committee. Please identify yourself for the record.
Good morning, Chair Rest and members of the Senate Taxes Committee. My name is Brian Cook. I'm the Director of Tax, Fiscal Policy, and Elections for the Minnesota Chamber of Commerce. Chamber represents more than 6,300 businesses of all sizes in all parts of the state who employ more than 500,000 employees. This morning, I would like to share our perspective on the federal tax conformity provisions in the A1 amendment that has been added to Senate File 5052. While we appreciate the inclusion of bonus depreciation, a more comprehensive approach like the one proposed by the governor would be more beneficial to the state for competitiveness, tax administration, and overall economic growth. The Chamber has been leading the Invest in Minnesota Coalition, which is comprised of 20 trade associations and 67 local chambers of commerce who support efforts to conform state tax law to H.R. 1, the federal tax bill passed in 2025. In particular, this coalition is in favor of adopting conformity with Section 179 expensing, bonus depreciation, and research and experimentation expensing. These provisions have significant economy-wide impact and benefit Minnesota businesses that invest in their property and operations, advancing economic growth in our state. Again, we appreciate bonus depreciation being included in the bill, so I won't get into more detail on that piece. Section 179, through its phase-out mechanism, primarily benefits small and medium-sized businesses. While it may not be the perfect way of measuring business size, looking at the impacts to the individual income tax versus the corporate franchise tax can provide some insight. Over 70% of the revenue reduction in the Department of Revenue's revenue analysis goes into the individual income tax, which indicates the benefit primarily goes to those small and medium-sized businesses. In regards to R&E, the proposal would allow for businesses to immediately deduct their research and experimentation expenses as opposed to amortizing them over 5 years. Prior to the implementation of the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, R&E expensing at the federal and state level has traditionally been immediate. H.R. 1 reverses this provision, allowing businesses to fully realize their expenses the year in which they occur. The impacts of this change are meaningful for businesses and their employees. Amortizing these costs impacts business investment and can negatively affect cash flow. For example, a November 2025 paper out of the University of Pennsylvania Wharton School titled "The Labor Consequences of R&D Tax Capitalization" found that this policy change resulted in the reduction of employment for lower-level R&D workers. There are other important business conformity provisions like the business interest limit, where nonconformity will create significant administrative headaches for tax filers and the Department of Revenue. We do acknowledge that there are short-term costs associated with the larger conformity package. However, there are a number of revenue-raising conformity provisions that can be used as offsets, and many of the provisions that scores costs do balance out over time. We're happy to continue working with Chair Rest, the members of this committee, and the Department of Revenue to find a workable solution within a larger conformity framework that fits within the state's budget constraints and maximizes Minnesota's competitiveness to attract additional business investment and growth. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cook. Next, also speaking on conformity is John Beshy, State Director of the Minnesota of the NFIB. Welcome to the committee. If you'd identify yourself for the record.
Thank you. Good morning, Chair Russ and members of the committee. My name is John Beshy. I'm the State Director for the National Federation of Independent Business in Minnesota. NFIB represents over 10,000 small and independently owned businesses throughout Minnesota, and our mission is to promote and protect the rights of our members to own, operate, and grow their businesses. Thank you for the opportunity to comment on the DE amendment to Senate File 5052, particularly as it relates to federal tax conformity. In general, conforming to the federal tax code provides small businesses with greater tax certainty, simplifies filing, and reduces compliance costs. This allows them to focus their time on growing their business and serving their community rather than navigating nonconformity. With that said, we appreciate the inclusion of federal conformity as it relates to 100% bonus depreciation, which will allow a business to deduct up to 100% of the cost of qualified property. However, we are concerned that the DE excludes two other items of federal conformity that we view as equally as important. First, we are concerned that the deed does not conform to the increased deduction limits under Section 179, which allows small businesses to deduct the full cost of qualifying equipment or property in the year it is purchased. This improves small business cash flow by allowing businesses to recover costs in the year the investments are made, rather than over multi-year depreciation schedules. Recent changes increased that Section 179 limit to $2.5 million, with a phase-out that limits this deduction to small and mid-sized businesses. This increased limit will improve business cash flow and allow small businesses to reinvest and grow their businesses in the present year. Second, we are concerned that the deed does not conform to the immediate expensing of research and experimentation expenditures. Prior to 2022, businesses were allowed to immediately deduct these expenses in the year that the expenses occurred, which freed up capital for operational needs and job creation. Since then, businesses have been required to spread this deduction over 5 years, leading to a higher tax burden for businesses investing in R&E, particularly for small businesses that are research intensive and not yet profitable. The federal tax bill returned to the pre-2022 standard by permitting businesses to take an immediate deduction of these expenses, once again freeing up capital for small businesses. By conforming to the R&E expense in Minnesota will allow small businesses to immediately deduct the expenses and will provide them with an opportunity to improve, upgrade, and innovate new products and services. These are the two federal conformity items that we would like to see included. Again, we recognize there is a cost to them as well. I do want to thank the committee for providing us with the opportunity to provide comment, and we appreciate the committee taking our perspective into consideration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Beschi. Next is Ms. Dan Madden, speaking on conformity and the homestead credit. Welcome to the committee. If you'd identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members of the committee. My name is Nan Madden. I'm director of the Minnesota Budget Project. The Minnesota Budget Project identifies and advances policy solutions so all Minnesotans can thrive, regardless of who they are or where they live. Tax conformity decisions are a matter of weighing simplicity against other goals, including tax fairness and the need to fund public services. The context for tax conformity decisions this year is that the federal H.R. 1 included an expensive tax package that gives the largest tax cuts to high-income households while doing little for most everyday Minnesotans. And these tax cuts are funded in part by the largest funding cuts in their history to Medicaid and SNAP, and shifting new responsibilities for providing and funding those services to the state and counties. We see that federal conformity decisions this year presents an opportunity to raise revenues to fund those essential public services that have been cut severely by H.R. 1. I appreciate this bill's approach to federal conformity has many positive elements, including protecting existing state revenues by not conforming to ineffective and expensive tax provisions of H.R. 1, such as opportunity zones and limited carve-outs for tax and for tips and overtime pay. As you continue your work, we would encourage you to build on what you have and consider additional revenue-raising opportunities in the conformity discussion. Also, I'd like to speak to the issue of potential one-time property tax reductions. If this is a policy the legislature chooses to enact this year, I appreciate that this bill proposes using the existing homeowner property tax refund rather than other proposed mechanisms, as this mechanism has elements that take into account ability to pay. But I would also ask you to include Minnesota renters through the renter's credit. Minnesota renters are seniors, people with disabilities, families, and working people all across the state. These Minnesotans are paying property taxes through their rents, and they are also struggling with cost pressures. And it would be consistent with past efforts the state has done to provide some kind of one-time rebate to be more inclusive and include Minnesota renters. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Madden. Next, we have Paul Eager, the Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for the Minnesota Realtors, speaking also on the homestead credit. Welcome to the committee. Please identify yourself.
Thank you, Chair Russ, and members of the committee. My name is Paul Egger, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Governmental Affairs for the Minnesota Realtors Association. We're a professional trade association with a membership of more than 21,500 real estate professionals serving buyers and sellers of various property types across the state. Thank you for the opportunity to testify today in support of the language found in Article 3, Section 13 of the amendment, which is from Senator Housechild, Senate File 5010, which would provide a one-time 12% increase in homestead credit refunds. Minnesota Realtors supports efforts by the legislature this session to provide property tax relief to homeowners. Rising interest rates, higher property taxes, and increased homeowners insurance costs have made managing household finances much more difficult for both new buyers and existing homeowners in recent years. The Homestead Credit Refund Program makes housing more affordable by assisting homeowners whose property taxes are high relative to their income. Another key feature of this program is it provides direct property tax relief to homeowners and does not shift property tax burden onto other property taxpayers. Minnesota Realtors is also a member of the Invest in Minnesota Coalition, referenced by Mr. Cook in his testimony, and we support efforts to conform to key items in the federal tax bill passed last year. We appreciate your inclusion of bonus depreciation conformity in the Senate's bill, and as the bill moves forward, we encourage your consideration of additional federal conformity items for Section 179 research and experimentation expensing. Again, thank you for the opportunity to testify, and we look forward to working with you as the bill moves forward.
Thank you, Mr. Eager. Next, we have Patty Nauman from the Association of Metropolitan Municipalities, also speaking on the homestead credit.
Madam
Welcome
Chair
to
and
the
members,
committee.
thank you very much for the opportunity to comment this morning. My name is Patricia Nauman. I'm the Executive Director of Metro Cities, the Association of Metropolitan Municipalities, representing cities across the 7-county metropolitan area at the state legislature and executive branch. Just very briefly here today, Metro Cities does strongly support the state's direct property tax relief programs, and as such supports the one-time increase to the homestead credit refund, I think also known as the circuit breaker, that is contained in Article 3, Section 13 of Senate File 5052. And we'd like to thank the committee for its consideration and inclusion of this increase to recognize some of the challenges going on with property taxes in this bill. Thank you very much, Madam Chair and members.
Thank you, Ms. Nauman. Next, we have Ann Daugherty and James Daugherty. They may come up together. And they are speaking about the issues of resort property. Please identify yourself for the record, and then you may begin your testimony. And I noticed that, just a second, I noticed that Mr. Carlson is joining you on the same topic, so we'll hear from the Mr. Daugherty, and then we'll hear from Mr. Carlson. So you may sit there.
Sounds good, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair and members. My name is James Daugherty. I'm the owner of Wombolt's Cabins in Park Rapids, Minnesota, with my wife and 5 kids. And I'm also here as a board member of the Community of Minnesota Resorts. So specifically, we've been talking about we're very excited about the inclusion of the bill of changes to the tiers for property taxes for resorts. We've owned Wombolt's for now, this is our 5th season going through. It was defunct for about 20 years. It's one of the oldest resorts in Minnesota, built in 1899. And we brought it back into running as a resort, which has been a phenomenal experience for our family and for the roughly 2,000 to 3,000 visitors we get every summer. Those visitors not only spend time at Wombolt's, but spend time in Park Rapids and the surrounding community. They come from many states and some from Canada, so we bring a lot of people to Park Rapids. And the property tax exclusion or the exemption tiers will dramatically change the landscape for property taxes. So we've seen in the 5 years we've owned it, our property taxes go up by about 55% in those 5 years. And so having an opportunity to what has been happening, right, is unintentionally encouraging sales to private owners. And so instead of my resort, which we bring 3,000 people to Park Rapids, it's instead maybe one family who pays no significant sales taxes or doesn't employ any people. So we're very excited about the inclusion in the bill. And thank you for hearing our thoughts on the matter.
Mr. Carlson, if you'd identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members. Joel Carlson, I'm here on behalf of the community of Minnesota Resorts. I'm a poor substitute for Ann Doherty, who was at an EMT conference in Bemidji and didn't get back in time to be here this morning. But we appreciate, and I want to thank this committee for the effort that you've put in to balance the property tax situation for Minnesota's family-owned resorts. We are at a breaking point. Just since we appeared before you last spring on this issue, 3 resorts just in Park Rapids have been sold for private development. And the spin-off impact of losing that local lodging and tourism opportunity in rural communities is huge. And Senator Rest and Senator Weber, Senator Hauschild, your efforts to address this problem are greatly, greatly appreciated.
Mr. Carlson, I think we all read the article.
Well, I wanted to point that out. That's my last point. I wanted to get you in the mood for summer. There was an article in the Pioneer Press over the weekend about their resort, and the pictures are phenomenal. You want to go and see this place. And this is what we're trying to preserve in Minnesota. It is, because of rising lakeshore values, resorts are the way that average Minnesotans get to enjoy our natural resources. And every time we lose that opportunity, it is a lost opportunity for your constituents and your families, even if you don't live in resort area, to access our lakes. And so thank you for your efforts. I hope we can get this across the goal line this year. It is critical. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Carlson and Mr. Doherty. It was a very impressive article and beautiful pictures. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have Stu Laurie, Government Relations Director for the Minnesota Farmers Union, who is going to speak about agriculture provisions. Mr. Laurie, if you'd identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Chair Rest and members of the committee. For the record, my name is Stu Laurie, Government Relations Director for Minnesota Farmers Union. And on behalf of our members and broadly, I want to thank Chair Rest, you and this committee for your attention to agriculture. It's appreciated, certainly not taken for granted. I was just talking with folks at MDA. We held a People's Town Hall in Wilmer the other day. And a farmer came up, not a member of Farmers Union, after it, and he wanted to talk to me about Chair Weber's, or Senator Weber's bill on qualifying relative homestead. So I just, I'll say it's clear that this committee is listening to farmers, attending to their needs, and we so appreciate it. With that, I want to relay our strong support for lifting the cap on the beginning farmer tax credit. That's been a top priority for our organization, for Farmers Union, the last 2 sessions, and we so value Senator Putnam and Chair Rest, your work on this. In 2023, we expanded the credit. Along with the reauthorization, we also lowered the overall amount available to credits, and that's resulted in a significant number of farmers being turned away from being able to utilize that credit, just over 50% in this last year. Of course, earlier in the informational hearing, you heard from our member, Daryl Larson, who was written up in KSTP for selling his farm turnkey to new farmers, Devin and Avery. It was important for Devin and Avery to be able to take over that farm in one transaction so they can continue to operate it profitably. And Daryl knew that he'd face a tax penalty for making that transaction in a single year, but he did it understanding that he'd be able to rely on the beginning farmer tax credit. Unfortunately, he was one of those folks who found out that they were denied due to lack of funding. But more than those individual stories, I think we think about, and I know this committee thinks about, the future of agriculture and the future value of that credit. And the promise of that credit is that beginning farmers are able to go to existing farmers, landowners, and negotiate land deals. They can say, hey, I might not have all my financing, I might not be able to write you as sweet a deal as my neighbor, but we can help manage your tax liability by using this credit. This change will allow beginning farmers to know that they can count on that credit. credit. I'll also highlight a letter signed by a broad array of agricultural organizations reflecting the diversity of agriculture in our state who all see value in this credit. For me, I think for all of us, it's not just about those beginning farmers, it's also about what they bring to our communities. They're sending their kids to local schools, they're shopping at the local hardware store, they're starting farmers markets. It's about vibrant rural communities, rural economic vitality. To close on a hopeful note, a lot of challenges in agriculture, but the last ag census between 2017 and 2022, Minnesota bucked national trends, was an outlier in adding more new farms. It's because of forward-looking work from this committee and others in our state, and I hope and believe that when we look back at the next ag census for this period, that we've again added new farms. That's good for our communities, and it's good for our state. So thank you so much for your work and for the opportunity to testify.
Thank you, Mr. Lurie. Next, we have Hunter Peterson, Public Policy Specialist for the Farm Bureau. He also will be speaking about the ag provisions. Welcome to the committee, Mr. Peterson. If you would identify yourself for the record.
Thank you, Madam Chair. For the record, my name is Hunter Peterson. I serve as the Public Policy Specialist at Minnesota Farm Bureau Federation. I'm happy to be here on behalf of our 30,000 family farm and ranch members, and please excuse my voice, it's a little hoarse, in support of a few of these agriculture provisions in your Senate Omnibus tax bill. You know, at a time when most farmers are out in the field planting right now, and they're thinking about the high fertilizer costs, high diesel prices, inputs in general. You know, the things that you put in this bill, I think, really send a strong message that not just you, Madam Chair, but this whole committee is committed to supporting Minnesota's farmers and ranchers. And so, you know, specifically, Senator Putnam's provision on taking the cap off the beginning farmer tax credit. We had our board of directors up here yesterday, and we're visiting with various lawmakers, and one of our on our board, our young farmer and rancher representative, she farms out in Chippewa County. She's applied for the beginning farmer tax credit 3 separate times, and because there's a cap on it, she has not been able to get into the program. And while she's figured out other arrangements to help her keep going with farming, you know, she knows people that was a make or break thing for them. And so I just kind of wanted to highlight the importance of that, and that, you know, we all want to get new farmers on the land, and that means more folks in our rural communities and our small towns, more kids in the schools. And then Senator Weber's Senate File 245 and Senator Rasmussen's 2772 really, in my mind, both kind of relate to also farm transition, transition for farm families. Really, I think to boil it down, both of those provisions recognize that for family farmers and ranchers, the familial and geographic realities that they face today are not the same as those from 10, 20, 30 years ago. And so I think that these changes that you have in the bill related to special ag homestead really modernize that accordingly, and ultimately, again, are going to help with family farm transition. So with that, Madam Chair, I'll conclude my testimony. Thank you for the opportunity to provide some support on these provisions, and thank you for including them in the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Peterson. Next, we have Angelica Day, Government Relations Specialist for the Nature Conservancy. Speaking, Senator Weber, on the grazing exceptions. Welcome to the committee. If you would identify yourself for the record.
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. My name, and committee members, my name is Angelica Day, and I am the Government Relations Specialist with the Nature Conservancy in Minnesota. We are grateful for your inclusion of Senator Weber's bill, SF 49, the Conservation Grazing Property Tax Modification, in the committee's omnibus package. As the committee heard earlier this biennium, this provision would support prairie management on certain already tax-exempt lands by enabling the use of short-duration, ecologically driven grazing by private ranchers as a conservation tool. Without this provision, there would be fewer opportunities to manage the remaining 1% of native prairie grassland to achieve maximum ecosystem service benefits on this critical landscape. Conservation grazing maintains the health and vigor of our state's grasslands that provide many benefits to our air, water, and wildlife. It is a widely recognized cost-effective tool for prairie management that helps control invasive species like non-native grasses, which are great threats to our prairies. This budget-neutral provision is a win-win opportunity to support Minnesota ranchers and advance conservation practices to benefit nature, climate, and local communities without changing property tax revenues. Passing this provision would support the Nature Conservancy leveraging grazing as a tool on some of our tax-exempt lands, while also advancing the state's climate goals. Thank you, Senators Weber and Putnam, for your work on this provision, and thank you, Madam Chair, for your inclusion of SF 49 in SF 5052 as amended. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we have Courtney Schaaf, Policy Manager, Minnesota Housing Partnership, speaking on the Minnesota Housing Tax Credit. Welcome to the committee. If you'd identify yourself for the record.
Chair Rest, members of the committee, my name is Courtney Schaaf. I serve as Policy Manager for the Minnesota Housing Partnership. MHP drives innovative housing solutions through original research, expert community development support, and advocacy for policies that ensure everyone has a place to call home. Thank you for the opportunity to testify on the DE to Senate File 5052, specifically the provisions related to the distribution of the state housing tax credit contributions. In a few short years, this program has become tremendously successful. Initiated by a large coalition of businesses, local governments, and housing leaders and developers, the program was designed to be flexible and simple and to work in greater Minnesota and the metro area alike. The increasing popularity by contributors and those seeking contributions speaks to both the exploding need for affordable homes and the effective design of the program. This year, in February, the program oversubscribed in one day, receiving 308 contributions to 278 specified projects across the state. Of those 278 project contributions, 59% of the contributions were for projects located in greater Minnesota. However, only 17% of the total dollars contributed went to greater Minnesota projects. Because the average contribution to a greater Minnesota project is 1/3 the size for metro area projects, it takes 3 times as many contributors to reach the same total funding level as the metro area projects. The changes in sections 15 and 16 to the DE establish in law a common practice to ensure geographic balance and distribution of program benefits between greater Minnesota and the 7-county metro area. Thank you to Senator Nelson for recognizing the need for this important adjustment and for authoring Senate File 4044 and for the inclusion in the DE. On behalf of our partners across the state, we do suggest an alternative approach. Instead of the 50-50 split, we recommend a geographic set-aside that is proportionate to the greater Minnesota share of the state's population. We believe a distribution allocation based on population is both the fairest and responsive to potential population changes over time. In addition, we recommend adjusting the time when remaining reserved credits are made available to 60 days after the program application opens. This shorter time constraint recognizes the reality that the program is popular and much needed and likely fully subscribed shortly after the program opens. Including geographic allocation language with a reasonable time constraint of 60 days helps to ensure greater Minnesota projects are competitive for their fair share of contribution dollars. These requests align with feedback that we've received from the Minnesota Housing Finance Agency, and we thank you for your consideration.
Thank you very much, Ms. Shaw. That concludes the requests from the public to testify. We're going to, again, tomorrow, receive and act on any amendments that members have. I will mention to Senator Nelson that you got a shout out from the Commissioner of Revenue for your work on the, with the department, with the revenue rulings language. And you happened to be out of the room when he was testifying, so I wanted to make sure that you knew that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'll look forward.
Great. So I would encourage members, if they have amendments, I'm going to have one in addition to the DE that deals with Senate File 3052. Does anyone have any questions at this point or comments? Senator Miller and then Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So first of all, thank you for including the sports and events reimbursement program in the Omnibus bill, and Senator Dibble and I, together with you, have been working on some language for amendments. I just want the committee members to know and the public to know that if you do have any recommendations to improve that program, please let me know. Certainly happy to work together with members of the committee or the public. Madam Chair, tomorrow I will be remote. I'll be participating remote. There's a very exciting event happening in Winona at a couple schools and another nonprofit organization that I'll be attending a little bit later or right after committee, but I will be here remote. So if you do have amendments, please let me know to that program, and I'm certainly willing to listen and work together with you to do whatever we can to make it even better.
Thank you, Senator Miller. Senator Putnam.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take a moment to thank you for all your great work for agriculture, especially in this bill. As you know, in the past couple of years, you have been deemed the queen of agricultural tax stuff. And that's an official title, agricultural tax stuff.
I want to be honorary farmer.
An honorary farmer as well, Madam Chair, but I will say that as the queen, lifting the cap on the beginning farmer tax credit will be the last gem in your crown, the one that brings it all together. And members, I'd also like to point out, if we look at this letter to which Senator Mr. Laurie referred to, there's 20 different organizations at the bottom of this supporting this program. And these are people who don't typically get along especially well. These are cats and dogs coming together to howl their praise for you. So, Madam Chair, I just want to thank you again for all you've done, but again, point out that particular program as being essential to the future of the state of Minnesota. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Putnam. Anyone else today? Oh, Senator Housejump, sorry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to express my gratitude for the Senate tax omnibus bill. Several of the provisions in here are really critical to my region and to the work that I've been doing. We've been fighting for a couple of years now for the seasonal tax replacement aid. This is a provision that's very important to districts like mine that have a lot of disproportionate amounts of seasonal recreation property or cabins or second homes. And a decision made early on in the legislature in the early 2000s moved those property taxes from operating levies for the local schools to the state general fund. And that's really impacted northern Minnesota schools, central Minnesota schools. And so this provision would provide a replacement aid back to those schools and is really, really critical to our region. I'm grateful for the testimony on the resort modifications that we're changing. I've talked a lot about that last year and the importance for me in that provision. I also want to thank you, Madam Chair, for including the property tax relief work that we've been doing this year. I think it's really critical with the dramatic increases we've seen in property taxes due to pressures on local governments, due to HR 1, due to a lot of the challenges that our local communities face, that we show as a state that we're willing to provide some relief to local residents as well. The SWCD funding in here is really great. And with that, Madam Chair, I just want to say thank you for many of the provisions in the bill. Thank you.
Senator Nelson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I do also just want to add my thanks to the many good things that I see in this bill before us today. The reason I was out of the committee was there was a little rally about the state housing tax credit right below us as we were speaking up here. And again, I just want to reiterate how thankful I am that you are able to continue to include and improve that program. $42 million of private funds have come in to help make sure that we have the homes that we need in Minnesota. So, and I also want to acknowledge the private letter ruling. I know we worked on that for a long time.
It's revenue ruling.
Oh, revenue ruling, of course. Change the letter, change the term. Thank you, Madam Chair. Yes, the revenue ruling, Madam Chair, I want to thank you for that. And especially thank the commissioner. He has spent a lot of time with me working on that. And so it's just an overall good project. Of course, the beginning farmers tax credit, always important. And I'd like to also see the improvements in the film tax credit and sustainable aviation fuel. That's such a groundbreaker change. I'm so glad to see us taking a lead there. And of course, the SWCDs. And then as a former tax chair, I just want to thank you for all those many things that you had to juggle and get. I know how hard it is to do everything that you want to get in this one tax bill, especially with constraints that we have. But I just want to thank you for that and call out those particular provisions that I think are just excellent. Thank you.
You're certainly welcome, Senator Nelson. And I in turn want to thank you and Senator Hemming-Singh-Nager for your taking on a very important task dealing with the local sales tax applications and bills that we have before us. And we hope that those additions to our bill are going to be better received this year than they were by the House last year. I think you've done a very careful and cautious job relating to the guidelines that were worked on by any number of legislators and in particular representatives from local governments who made invaluable suggestions that we took for the guidelines that we then developed over the last couple of years. We thank you for that. Hemming-Singh-Nager, Senator.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to take a second to express my gratitude to you and to Senator Nelson for allowing me to be a part of those discussions. Thank you to the committee, to the staff. It was great to learn in my first year and still be included in the discussions, and just really appreciate all the work that went into this bill, you know, from sustainable aviation fuel to farmers to homestead. This committee does a lot, and I really appreciated kind of a whole Minnesota look at it. So just want to say thank you.
Well, you're more than welcome. Tomorrow might be a bit more contentious, so I think this is a good opportunity. We have a little bit of time to express our appreciation for one another, quite frankly, and certainly I think we have the best committee in the Minnesota Senate, and I want to, well, we do. Well, I know Senator Dillon and you over there, but that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. But, you know, we really couldn't do any of this work without the help of our staff, and especially calling out our nonpartisan staff. But then also our partisan staff that provides us with analysis of bills going forward, and we so appreciate them being able to give us analysis, not always from a partisan view, but generally that's their job, and we're grateful for them. And certainly our pages who work with Mr. Montresor and Mr. Berggren to make sure that when we walk in this room on a hearing day, that the materials are in our packets, they're organized, and they make it so much easier for us and for the public to do our work. And particularly today, if not, and also later as well on other occasions, I want to acknowledge the enormous contributions made by, well, I guess it includes me, but anyway, of those of us who are retiring. And thank you so much for all the contributions you've made. Senator Weber and Senator Drazkowski to good tax policy. And for you, Senator Drazkowski, also your work on property taxes as a chair in the Minnesota House before you came to the Minnesota Senate. And we all wish you well. And I think with that, We will be adjourned till 8:30 tomorrow. Thank you. We're adjourned.